It was one of those days where everything seemed to be conspiring against me. I'm Emma, and if you've ever had a morning where the universe seems to laugh at your every misstep, then you'll understand exactly how I felt on that fateful Tuesday. It all started with a disaster of a breakfast. I'm not a terrible cook, just a highly ambitious one. On that morning, I decided to tackle homemade cinnamon rolls. The recipe seemed simple enough, but as fate would have it, my kitchen turned into a disaster zone. The dough was too sticky, the cinnamon was everywhere but the rolls, and let's just say the smoke detector had a few choice words for me. So, there I was, standing in my flour-covered pajamas, trying to salvage a pan of burnt dough while my apartment filled with smoke. I decided to get some fresh air and take a break from my culinary catastrophe. I threw on a hoodie, tied my hair into a haphazard bun, and set off to the nearby coffee shop for something that wasn't on fire. In my less than glamorous state, I shuffled into the shop, looking like I'd just lost a battle with a tornado. As I waited in line, I could hear the chatter of other patrons and the cheerful clinking of coffee cups. I was busy mentally preparing myself for the extra strong coffee, please routine when a series of unfortunate events began to unfold. First, I accidentally bumped into someone, sending his coffee flying. The hot liquid arced through the air and splashed directly onto his pants. Mortified, I stammered apologies while trying to dab at the mess with napkins. Of course, in the chaos, I knocked over a stack of sugar packets, turning the floor into a white, powdery snowfield. The guy I had drenched was surprisingly calm. He introduced himself as Alex, and instead of scowling, he seemed more amused than anything. He had this smirk that suggested he was both amused by my clumsiness and slightly impressed by how quickly I could make a mess of things. We spent the next few minutes cleaning up my mess together. Alex, being the gentleman he was, offered to buy me a coffee to replace the one I destroyed. I reluctantly agreed, mainly because I didn't want to look like a total disaster in front of him. As we sat down with our new coffees, he started telling me about his day, which, it turned out, had involved a similarly disastrous encounter with a rogue squirrel that stole his sandwich. We laughed about our mishaps, and I found myself unexpectedly enjoying the company of this charming, easygoing stranger. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and I learned that Alex had a knack for turning the mundane into something entertaining. He talked about his job with a humor that made even the most boring details sound fascinating. As we chatted, the coffee shop staff, who had witnessed the entire spectacle, were kind enough to bring us free pastries as a peace offering. By the time I left, I was grinning like a fool, and Alex had asked for my number, claiming he wanted to make sure he wasn't in the line of fire next time I attempted another kitchen experiment. Over the following weeks, Alex and I met up often. We went to comedy shows, tried out quirky restaurants, and even attempted to bake together, under the strict supervision of a fire extinguisher. Each time, our mishaps and laughter seemed to pull us closer together. It was in those unplanned moments of chaos that I realized how much I enjoyed his company. Eventually, we became inseparable, and every day felt like a new adventure. Alex had this amazing way of turning even the smallest things into something memorable. It was clear that we had found something special in each other amidst the hilariously messy start. Looking back, it's hard to believe that my future husband was the guy I managed to soak with coffee and cover in sugar. But as fate would have it, sometimes the best things come out of the messiest situations. And so, in the middle of a coffee shop disaster, I found the love of my life, and a partner who could laugh with me through every mishap life threw our way.